What's up, ladies and gentlemen of the interweb? So, as you guys know, there's been a lot of Devil May Cry news come out lately that I've not had time to talk about because of school, but we got a week left in this semester. Nobody really cares at this point, so I got a lot of time to make videos again. So we'll be pumping these out until next school year starts, which is in like August 14th, I think, somewhere around there. But anyways, we're gonna start with the minuscule Devil May Cry 5 stuff and then work our way up to the biggest thing of it, which is like, to me. Okay, so the little thing is, Devil May Cry 5, we originally thought it was being made in the Resident Evil 7 engine. It's being made in the Resident Evil 2 remake engine. And that's kind of crazy. That's kind of crazy because Resident Evil 2 remake looks so good. The lighting is so perfect. Everything is crazy. And then Devil May Cry 5 is being made in that, and Devil May Cry 5 is obviously be a much longer, much bigger game than Resident Evil 2 Remake. So it's just like, again, mind blown. This game is gonna have so many people blown away when it comes out that I don't even honestly know if this game is going to end up being one of those Devil May Cry games that gets pushed under the rug. But I think this one is gonna be the one. I think this is gonna be the Devil May Cry that people talk about for years and years and years to come. When people look back at PlayStation 2, they still talk about Devil May Cry, but they don't look at Devil May Cry the same way they do, Jak and Daxter, Sly Cooper, Ratchet and Clank, or the same way they do Resident Evil 4 on the GameCube. But I think Devil May Cry 5, I think this might be the breakout in the series that has been needed. I mean, obviously to us, the fans, this series has been pumping for a long time. But I think this is going to be the one that grabs all the normies and pulls them in. Like, I'm already seeing people running in left and right to the Devil May Cry community because of the trailer of Devil May Cry 5. And I think putting it in at the Microsoft press conference at E3 was the biggest thing they could do, because Microsoft got a lot of attention because of that. So that might mean that, Xbox fans who have been dying for a game to play will come give Devil May Cry 5 a chance. And I'm really excited for that because that's good for the series, and it's good for us as the longtime fans because that means there could potentially be a Devil May Cry 6, which carries on to our next point that came out about Devil May Cry news. The Capcom team that makes Devil May Cry is actually really proud of DMC Devil May Cry, which is honestly blowing my mind, but I can't blame them because it's a really good game. Yes, it got a lot of flack, but to me, personally, I think it's a really fun game. It's a really nice story. The platforming in it is what I enjoyed the most, because there hasn't been a game last gen, or even this generation really, that plays platforming the same way that game did. And to be quite honest with you, I know Devil May Cry is not primarily a platforming game. It's more of, the whole action adventure aspect, but the twist up with the DMC Devil May Cry, to me, with it being a prequel and everything, well, kinda in a way, it was just a much more enjoyable game. I'm not saying it's better than the first 3 Devil May Crys or even the 4th one, but I enjoyed the game thoroughly. I really did. I played through it probably, 9 or 10 times since it came out. It's a really good game in my opinion. And then moving on to the next thing, Nero. Nero apparently looks different in this Devil May Cry because this is peak Nero. This is Nero at his peak. So I guess we're not getting the same build up as we did with Dante. It's just one game and then boom, you're peak Nero. And this Nero is apparently, like I said, it's the peak of Nero. So they wanted to show him as like a more, edgy character and a little bit more, darker evil character. Because when you look at dark characters, they all have that short hair. You're not gonna have a dark character with the long anime white hair like Nero had in Devil May Cry 4. That just doesn't make sense. So I am kind of excited how they're gonna pull off the darker, edgier Nero, which also transitions into the next point. Devil May Cry 5 is gonna have an extremely dark story and an extremely emotional story according to the devs. The Devil May Cry creator, Itsuno, he said that Devil May Cry 5's story is going to be so big and so emotional that everyone who plays it is going to cry. You could be a brand new Devil May Cry player. You could have never heard of Devil May Cry in your life and buy an Xbox One, PlayStation 4 bundle off of eBay and have this disc game included with it and play it for the very first time, have it your very first video game ever played. You will cry. He's guaranteeing that for everybody. I don't know what that's going to mean, but if it's anything like, what Japanese games have been giving us in recent years about crime in their games, I'm looking forward to it. I don't know how they're going to pull it off. I mean, is Dante gonna die? Is Nero gonna die? Is Kyrie gonna be there? I don't know, man. It's gonna be hard to try to guess what the story could be like until we actually get the game. I know a lot of people don't like when games take the emotional approach. They just want action, 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 stabby, stabby. But having Devil May Cry take a more emotional approach, I feel like it's gonna have a bigger impact on the series, and it's gonna keep the game in the limelight longer. Because think about it, if this game's making people cry, then that means this game is gonna review like crazy because people are gonna love the game. People are gonna mention that in every single review that they cried over this game, and this game is gonna have even more people coming into it who's like, this game's emotional and it's having an impact on people. I'm gonna go try it out. I've never played it before, but I'm gonna go try it out. There's gonna be people having opinions like that gets into the game, and this game's gonna be huge. I'm calling it right now. It might not be the game of the year of 2019, but it's definitely gonna be in the top 5. It is definitely gonna be in the top 5. And with it coming out it's rumored to be April. There's no like confirmation or anything on that, but it's rumored for April. That would be Q2 of 2019, and there's no games coming out in Q2 2019 that we know of. That's the April, May, June era. And there's nothing coming out, so Devil May Cry 5 will win that portion of the year. I don't know how it's gonna hold up against everything else, but whoa, this is gonna be wild. It's gonna be a wild ride. It really is. So sit back, subscribe for all future Devil May Cry news. I got time to make videos now. And with that being said, my name's CRUZANDO, try not to die, and I'll see you in the next video.